All right. Welcome back, listeners, and welcome to the starting grid. We are back. We're here.
Wait, we're still doing this?
We're still doing it. We haven't forgotten about all you tens and tens of listeners.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
So I'm your host, as usual, Malik Durojai, and with me, as always,
It's Calvin. Welcome.
yes, we're back to talk about the Japanese Grand Prix. Did we miss one? Was there?
I don't know. Something happened in Russia?
It was
I
a
don't
Russian
know.
Grand Prix. Yeah, that happened. And moving on. So, no, just kidding. We can talk a little, probably about the most controversial thing about Russia.
You're going to have to remind me.
The most controversial thing was the team orders from Ferrari, right?
Okay, yeah.
So
yeah.
you had
Oh, yeah.
you had Leclerc starting the race in first place. Vettel was in third. Leclerc gave Vettel the toe along that straight and didn't defend against Vettel purposely so that so he can slingshot ahead of Hamilton and both Ferraris can be leading. They were going for a Ferrari 1-2.
Yes, I remember now.
They were supposed to switch back later in the race. Vettel said, bump that. I'm a driver. I'm a racer. I was about to say I'm fighting for the championship, but he definitely was not. So,
Yeah, not anymore.
yeah, not at all. I don't even think he was close. I mean, I want to say he was in like fifth in championship standings.
Yeah.
I think it was Hamilton, Bottas. I think Verstappen was running third, right? And then maybe Leclerc and then Vettel, I think.
Yeah, I think technically all five of them still had a chance, but not after this weekend.
Yeah.
Now it's just down to...
I mean, did they really have a
Bottas
chance
and
though?
Hamilton.
Did they really have a chance?
I mean, there's still a chance, but
But really?
not really.
Not really. So yeah, when those team orders came through, Vettel wasn't having it, and he paid the price for his defiance.
Yeah. Well, we got
Karma got him.
I think they would have been fine. There was a safety car, though.
Oh yeah, so it was Hamilton, Bottas, Leclerc, and then Verstappen. Actually, it might have switched over this past race. So I think Verstappen was ahead of Leclerc.
Yeah, the DNF didn't help him.
And before Japan, yeah, because he's only 9 points behind Leclerc right now. So the DNF, and I think Leclerc finished with points. So, yeah, Vettel was in fifth, so he was not fighting for the championship at all. But funnily enough, they're the only 5 drivers that are above 200 points. The next closest is Carlos Sainz at 76.
Which yeah.
That's a big gap.
I'm even shocked he has that many points, to be honest.
Carlos Sainz, what? McLaren's been doing great.
Yeah, they have been.
Yeah. But anyways, back to Russia real quick. Vettel paid the price. Karma got him because his car crapped out on him. I think it was his energy recovery system that crapped out on him,
Mm-hmm.
I think. And the point at which it crapped out of him also made Ferrari have their whole plan fell apart. Because Hamilton, again, per usual, he's in the right place, the right time, always ready to pounce. Was able to pit under the safety car and got a jump, got ahead, got in the lead.
Yep.
And then I think they finished Hamilton, Bottas, Leclerc after all of that drama because Leclerc pitted under full race speed.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think about those team orders, though? Like, what do you think about Vettel literally ignoring it? So I don't know if you heard the radio. They asked him multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
First, he was telling them he has to catch up. And then he literally just stopped responding to Ferrari, the radio messages. He just gave them the silent treatment. How do you feel about that?
Well, I mean, so he started. Did he start ahead?
No.
Leclerc pitted, and that's what gave him the lead.
No.
Okay, you're going to have to refresh my memory, man.
I just did. One more time. Leclerc started in first place. Vettel was in third. He gave Vettel the slipstream at the beginning of the race.
Yeah. And then
to slingshot around Hamilton, and Leclerc was told not to defend against Vettel in the beginning so that they can get away from Mercedes. They wanted them to take optimum lines.
Gotcha.
So he gave Vettel first place in the first lap, first turn.
Mm-hmm.
Then they were supposed to switch back. This was their strategy before the race. They were supposed to switch back later in the race, but Vettel wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, if his car didn't crap out on him, he would have had to pit anyway, and then they were going to switch back.
Well, they would have
when he came in the pit.
They would have. Well, but Leclerc would have to pit as well, so it just depends on if it worked out.
Yeah,
for him that way.
that's true.
So either way, I think it's interesting that he was ignoring the team bosses. I mean, obviously you got the veteran that's trying to show that he still got it and that he can still be the number one driver, and then you got this young gun who's clearly better, who doesn't really have to try too hard to prove himself.
Clearly better.
Than Vettel, 100%,
Yeah.
100%.
You think that's like definitive? Is that because of? Well, I mean, he has done a lot better this season.
I think. Yeah.
But I feel like Vettel's kind of gotten over whatever slump he was going through, and
one good result isn't one good result plus one good qualifying is not getting over his slump. I would need to see more from him. Now, granted, overall, Vettel is a better driver in his prime, but Leclerc is a better driver at the moment because Vettel's just not. He's never been that great in the turbo hybrid era.
Mm-hmm.
So he just hasn't. Like with the Ferraris, he's not been the Vettel that we know from the Red Bull days and all that jazz. So
yeah,
Leclerc's clearly better. He's out-qualified him. He's outscored him in points. So I just see those two battling. I think it's interesting to see kind of what happens going forward. They're still going to be teammates next year, so that'll be interesting to see that rivalry brew up.
Yeah,
because I can't remember the last time Vettel had a teammate also that was like competition. He's almost been like had Hamilton, right? Like Hamilton has had Bottas has been like a good team player for the last 2 years or so.
Yeah.
But Hamilton had Rosberg to deal with back in those days, and you saw what happened there. They clashed a lot.
Mark Webber, right? Wasn't it?
That was a Red Bull. Yeah,
weren't they teammates?
Yeah, and Red Bull.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I mean,
but
he's
that's
been
what I'm
in
saying.
that kind of situation.
Yeah, but it's been so long, so now he's got a challenger on his team. He's got a teammate that's not there to help him win the championship. He got his teammate that wants to win the championship himself.
Oh yeah, exactly.
So, gonna be interesting to see how that.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with you. I think Leclerc is definitely the future.
100%.
And is showing it.
So let's move on then to the Japanese Grand Prix, the one we're actually here to talk about.
Perfect.
Because we spent not too long, 8 minutes.
The one I remember. I'll probably forget some stuff.
Yeah. So, Japanese Grand Prix, what'd you think?
It was great up until turn one when Max Verstappen went out.
So it was great for 5 seconds?
Yeah, for 5 seconds. But I like what'd you think of the qualifying on Sunday?
Oh, it was interesting.
Did you watch it live? Because it was at like
I did.
7 o'clock here or 6 o'clock here.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah,
it was great.
Yeah, I know. It was awesome. They should do qualifying that early every Sunday.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
You mean they should race on the other side of the world every Sunday?
Yeah.
So we can get qualifying at that time.
No, I needed 7 p.m. Sunday. It doesn't matter what time they're racing. That's what time it needs to be.
Okay. Yeah, it's all about America.
Right. No, I liked it. It was fun. It's better than waking up all groggy and you have no idea what's going on at 5 or 4 in the morning and then trying to watch the race. But
yeah, it was also interesting sessions because they took away practice 3 due to the typhoon that was coming through, which
that still had a lot of effects.
Had some sad news around Japan. I think a lot of people lost their lives and they're still recovering from that. So prayers go out to those people and their families.
Yeah, I heard
yeah.
While the typhoon was coming through, there was a big 5.0 earthquake.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, so they got hit with 2 natural disasters.
That is unfortunate.
Yeah, crazy.
But yeah, so they canceled FP3, and they also pushed qualifying to Sunday. So I don't know when the last time, I don't know if this is the first time they've ever done this, but I don't know when the last time they did a qualifying and then a race 3 hours later.
Yeah. They said they've done it 4 times before.
Yeah, okay.
I think the last time was in 2017
really?
for the U.S. Grand Prix.
Oh, was it just rain?
I think there was a huge, the same thing. A hurricane was coming through Houston.
Oh, okay.
So
it's not in Houston though. It's in Austin.
They're right next to each other.
They're close.
Well, they're close. They're not right next to each other.
Well, yeah. So could you imagine having to qualify? Can you imagine the stress, the added stress that is okay, you've got to push this car to its limits, but don't crash because you've got to race in 3 hours.
Well, speaking of not crashing, a couple people
Kubica.
Yeah, Kubica. And then there was one more. He had to go all the way around the track, and parts were flying off.
Oh,
He didn't want to get it.
yeah, but Kubica crashed.
Oh yeah, he crashed.
No driving after that.
Yeah.
So kudos to the Williams team for rebuilding that car in 3 hours.
Well, so I heard that they had a new front wing, or that's what they were commenting on.
Yeah.
Yeah, good thing they didn't give it to him because they only had one,
Yeah.
and he would have crashed right away.
Exactly. Yeah.
Who else crashed in that?
In the qualifying? I don't recall anybody else really
I think
crashing.
was it a Haas?
I think that was in
Magnussen
practice
or something.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Haas were nowhere this weekend.
One of them. Yeah.
Do they even exist?
Well, I got a new story about Renault coming up later.
Oh man. All right.
More drama.
Oh man. Well, speaking of Renault, Hulkenberg had a great race, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He had a great start off the line. I don't know if have you seen that?
The onboard.
Yeah, there's a little onboard of his first lap.
I didn't even notice.
It was great racing. I mean, he kind of got lucky. He pretty much just kept the outside line. And I think, Raikkonen or Giovinazzi was in front of him at one point and just moved out of the way. And he was just able to
just keep
overtake
going.
like 5 people.
Nice.
Before turn 1.
Nice.
He got super lucky.
And I know Ricardo had a great race too, because I think Ricardo started at the back around 17th. Yeah, because Ricardo was out in Q1.
Mm-hmm.
And then he ended up finishing.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. He got kicked out in the first round.
What that Ricardo? Oh, that's qualifying. So yeah, Ricardo qualified 16th, and then he finished in 6th. So that is 10 places gained. That's a great race.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hulkenberg finished 10th.
That's kind of what Ricardo does, though.
That's true.
Starts in the back and makes up the places.
Not in the Renault, though.
Yeah, not in the Renault, that's for sure.
Not usually. Well, yeah, I thought it was a great race. I thought it was interesting. I thought it was fun. I was excited, probably because the race was at 10 o'clock at night and it wasn't like super early in the morning.
Right.
So I could just get into it.
And what'd you think of Bottas getting the W over Hamilton and Hamilton?
Sometimes that's the way the cookie crumbles. I mean, Hamilton was crying about it. You know, he's trying to find a way to, but that's, I guess you can say could say that he's crying about it, but you could also say that he never gives up. He's always looking for a way. He's like, why? Like, how did this happen so it doesn't happen again?
You're talking about the tire situation or
tire situation,
pit stop situation?
Pit stops. Yeah, he was wondering what the strategy calls were, and he's always wondering what the strategy call is. And some could see it as a lot of complaining and boo-hooing, but I mean, you got to give it to the guy. He just never quits. He always wants to know how he can win, how he can make up that time. Maybe drivers do it internally, but he does it externally, and that's just the way he does it. But congrats to Bottas for the win. He fought hard. He got a solid start.
Led the race, right?
Led the race
Start to finish.
From like 2 seconds after race started to finish.
Yeah, you got a great start off of. What'd you think of Vettel's start off the line?
I think he should have got a penalty and been relegated all the way to the back of the grid.
Yeah. So did they ever explain anything of that? Or
yeah, they said he didn't trip the actual whatever the thing is to see that people fast started. So they have like a little box, a window that they can park their car in, right? And I guess if you park it at the back, if you're able to stop it at the back, maybe you can, if you can time it well enough, you could kind of jump the start and get away with it. But you'd have to be like, lightning, the Bottas start that happened, not reflex time, but reaction time that Bottas had last year. I think he had some insane reaction time of like 0.0025 seconds or something that from the lights going off.
Damn.
So like if you start at the back of that little box they give you, then you can essentially kind of like, you get that much leeway to start without passing that point. And he stopped before he got there, but he killed his momentum because the lights went off, unfortunately, after he did that.
His he dropped down like 4th or 3rd?
He dropped
down to 3rd.
Just a second. No, second.
Okay.
Yeah, it was second. So he didn't drop too far. He was able to.
I think he would have been in 3rd if Max didn't crash right away.
Maybe. No, because
it was
he got
Bottas,
Bottas got
Leclerc,
around him,
and Vettel, and then Max, and then Hamilton was right behind him.
That's true. Yeah, but Hamilton was in 5th.
Well, then I mean, I guess it doesn't matter after turn two.
Hamilton was in fifth. I think Vettel stayed ahead of Leclerc though. Because Leclerc got a bad start as well. So both Ferraris got crap starts.
Well, that right side,
yeah.
this is terrible. I would rather have qualified in third.
Right. They both got crap starts. But so Hamilton was able to come up ahead of Leclerc, but Vettel stayed ahead of Hamilton because Vettel was in first. Hamilton was all the way in fifth. So Vettel stayed ahead of Hamilton. So then it was Bottas, Vettel, Hamilton, because Hamilton got around Leclerc, especially after Leclerc and Verstappen tangled.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how. And did you see, by the way, Carlos Sainz was about to pass Hamilton in that turn one? And Hamilton just muscled his way through, or turn two, I think. And then Hamilton muscled his way through and was like, nah, I'm not.
No thanks.
Like, yeah, nah. Return to sender, buddy.
Yeah.
You can't send it on me. So, but it was a crazy. I mean, I was jumping up. I was like, as soon as the race started, it was like, oh shit.
Right? No, I mean, isn't that the first time that the person who didn't starting pole finished? Like, no one's won from second or third, right?
No one's ever won from the second row.
Okay.
People have won from first and second,
all right,
but never from the second row. So yeah, that was the first time.
Yeah.
All thanks to Vettel and his bad start.
Yeah. Dang, what were we just talking about a second ago? There was something I was going to ask you about with
Hamilton and Carlos Sainz.
Nah, it was before that.
Oh, well, it'll come back to you.
Yeah, I'll think about it.
Well, moving on through the race. So we had Verstappen going around the outside of Leclerc in turn one, and Leclerc just not caring that he was there, gave no room and just kind of moved it to the normal racing line, even though he could. I mean, maybe he didn't see him because they're in a. Verstappen was ahead though; he's like a little bit ahead, but maybe because his eyesight was.
Yeah, you can see him
but maybe his eyesight was looking at the next way, so he didn't see him. But he totally moved across. Took out Verstappen, your boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ruined my night. What do you think of so after the race he got a 15-second penalty?
Yeah, he got 2 penalties, which I think is
What was the second penalty for?
He got 1 penalty for causing the accident and 1 penalty for unsafe or it's unsafe driving. I don't know what they called it, but it was for not coming in the pits and repairing his car and letting his stuff just fly all over the track, which I think they should have probably flagged him. I mean,
or
parts of his
car come in,
parts of his car, which his team tried to call him in. He just kept saying no.
Yeah, he was trying. I think he was trying to stay out to lap 15 or something.
Yeah. Well, I think
the
first person pitted lap 5.
Oh, okay.
So, but either way, bits of his car flying all over the place,
knocked off Hamilton's mirror.
You would think they're like, oh, it's just bits and pieces of car, so it's not that dangerous. But one of those bits and pieces ripped off a mirror from the car behind it. So imagine if they hit a driver in the head.
Oh yeah, dude, knock him out.
Yeah, I think that's black flag material if you ask me.
Yeah, they should have made him come in and repair his car.
Yeah, I mean, you make them by black. You can't make them. You can only black flag them. They tried to make his team tried to say you have to come in and repair, and he's like, no, it feels great. It feels great. Well, he's just got stuff flying all over the place.
Right. No, the announcers were saying that there's a black flag with an orange disc in the center, and that's
come in or get the black flag.
Yeah, right. It's repair your car, or you're going to be disqualified.
Yeah, he should have been because I like Leclerc. I'm not a Leclerc hater or anything, but
I get it, but and he also can't see what's going on.
Yeah, but his emotions got the best of him. I mean, he tangled with Verstappen of all people. And,
I know. Yeah, and
he's trying to. At the same time, Ferrari are trying to stay in the constructors fight for I don't know why they were trying to stay in it because they know there's zero chance of them winning it.
Yeah,
they're out of it now.
They would have to go 1-2, right? And then
I don't know why they were trying. They were trying their best to stay in it, and also Leclerc was still in the fight for the championship, so he was still fighting for championship points for first. So he I think his emotions got the best of him, and he decided to stay out against the team's orders. And it was bad decision. He should have immediately come in. I mean,
yeah,
Carr might feel the same, but he was clearly not making any time.
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah. Although he stayed,
he should have came in.
He did stay ahead of Hamilton for a while. Hamilton couldn't pass him, but still.
Yeah. What did you think of Hamilton's? Oh, this is what I was going to talk about. Yeah, we were talking about Hamilton complaining about having to come in for the pits. So, what do you think about that? Did you think he had enough tires left to make it the rest of the way? Because it's kind of one of those things where he could have stayed out. He might have had enough tire left by the end of the race, but then if he's out, then looks like a bad call by the team.
Or I don't think it was a bad call by the team. I think so. Vettel pitted first, right, and Hamilton was running in second place. Then he stayed out. He decided to stay out. Now, once Vettel pitted and went on to softs again.
Yeah.
So
then
at that point, there was no way. I mean, Hamilton's on old mediums or old softs, I think. And so, he was like 4 seconds a lap slower than Vettel.
Yeah, so he had to.
So there was no choice there. He had to pit, but he still stayed out. He was trying to just, he knew he was losing time, but I believe he was just trying to extend his stint on those tires so that he can come back to fight in the end.
Mm-hmm. With the fresher
tires. So he stayed out even after Bottas went in to pit, which I think is awesome that they still pitted Bottas first, because if they would have pitted Hamilton first, that would have shafted Bottas, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because he probably got the undercut.
Yeah.
But, I think that, I don't know, his complaints, I believe, were just like, I don't know what he was complaining about, just how, like, he just wanted to know how he ended up so far behind. It's like, well, because you decided to stay out for a couple laps after they all changed tires, and that's why you're so far behind.
Right. I'm sure at this point in his career, he just feels like he should be first, like, no matter what.
Yeah. Well, he's never actually cared to, like, be number one driver.
Yeah.
And even he says that at the end of most races, like,
I'm sure he says that, but
he's never shown any. Well, he wants to be first. Yeah, he wants to be first place.
To win, yeah,
but he's never shown that he wants the team to put him ahead of another driver in as far as strategy goes.
Yeah,
he's never like complained about it. And even at the end of this race, they asked him, like, they said that since everybody else is out of the championship fight, it's just him and Bottas left. Mm-hmm. They asked him, like, do you think the competition will get more intense between you two? Do you think the racing will get a little bit more between you two now that it's just between you and him? And he's like, well, we've always been allowed to race, so nothing's going to be any different than it has been. And I thought that was funny because, one, I thought it was like, okay, cool, it's a true statement. They've always been allowed to race. But two, he's also kind of like, ain't nothing going to change. Bottas ain't about to take the championship from me.
Well, I don't know if necessarily they've always... I mean, there's definitely been times when, even this season, they've pitted Bottas or done stuff to let Hamilton win. I think, like, there was a race this season where Bottas, like, had to give up first.
This season? No, that was last season.
That was last season?
Yeah, it was last season. And then Hamilton... I don't think he gave the win back, but it was last season where they told Bottas to slow down. And he basically almost stopped his car. He was like half speed to let Hamilton by to win the championship. But that's like winning the championship. Yeah. That's a different strategy. But this season, of course, they still have their strategy where they still want to have a 1-2 finish, but they're still allowed to race. The problem is why you don't see them racing as hard as Hamilton and Rosberg is because Bottas just isn't as fast as Rosberg.
Yeah.
So you're not going to see them neck and neck all the time.
Yeah. I don't know. I think he's got it. I think he can win. I think he's fast enough.
He can definitely win, but he's not faster than Hamilton. You think Bottas not faster than Hamilton?
I mean, he's out. I mean, if we were looking at like qualifying and stuff, he's out qualified.
No,
Hamilton a couple times.
A couple times, but Hamilton has mostly out qualified him.
Well, I mean, like over averages or whatever, but
no, I think Bottas has maybe out qualified Hamilton 3 or 4 races.
That's why I thought like this is Bottas's year, because he came into the season, he was so much different.
Australia,
and he's had a couple pole positions over Hamilton. So
I think
like 3 or 4 this year.
I think but that's what I'm saying. It's only been 3 or 4. I think you're focusing on the positives. Like, yes, he's had.
I'm just looking at like immediate like this season.
Yeah, but I think you're focusing on the big wins over Hamilton.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's only been 3 or 4. There's 20 some odd races in the season. So like, he's out qualified Hamilton 3 or 4 times in the season, but Hamilton's out qualified him like 15 times. So who's faster?
Yeah, like Hamilton's 7 to his 4. Yeah.
So what I'm saying is Bottas. Yeah, there's some tracks where Bottas pulls it out of the bag and he beats Hamilton, but let's put it this way. Even on the tracks where Mercedes weren't expected to be able to fight Ferrari, which Japan was one of them, and they didn't actually. They qualified behind them, right? Mm-hmm. But let's talk about Russia. Russia and Spa. Hamilton put his car between the two Ferraris, somewhere it shouldn't have been. Bottas couldn't do that.
Yeah, that's true.
So Hamilton's clearly a faster driver, and I think that Rosberg was a faster driver than Bottas is now, but Bottas is still fast enough to be right there up and winning. But Rosberg definitely took it to Hamilton. I mean, he won the championship, for God's sakes. He took it to Hamilton. It was relentless. So
yeah. All right. Yeah, I can see where you're coming from. I don't know. I'm hoping for a good finish to the season. I want to see them battling neck and neck.
There's 4 races left.
How many? Did you know that? Yeah. How many?
4 races. There's Mexico, the U.S., Brazil, and Abu Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi, yeah.
4 races left, and Hamilton is.
Yeah. What's the points breakdown on the what are the standings?
How many points? So Hamilton is almost. He's like 75 points ahead of Bottas, something like that. I can't do the math.
Oh, damn. Yeah, it's going to be tough.
So,
the only way
like 70
he's
points.
going to get back in it is if, DNF on Hamilton's part. So.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just, so it's not going to be an interesting, exciting finish to the season. I want to say he can probably lock it in. Hamilton can probably lock in the championship in the U.S.
Oh, yeah, in the US?
I don't think in Mexico, because they're 70. They're still.
I don't think he'd be able to lock it in.
Exactly.
Not unless he. What happens if Hamilton gets 2 DNFs, and then Bottas wins 2 of those races?
Well, then
then they're right there, and then it's coming down to the last two races.
Wild.
Yeah,
it's wild.
That'd be sweet.
What happens if Bottas crashes out because he's done it?
Yeah.
And then Hamilton can lock it in Mexico. I think if Hamilton wins in Mexico and Bottas crashes out, that might be championship over.
Yeah, because that'd be it'd be over 100 points.
Yeah.
So and only 3 races left. There's no way.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of where we're at.
We can dream, right? An exciting
people
finish.
Who are not Hamilton fans.
Yeah. No, I like Hamilton. It's just he's won enough.
Yes, he's about to win a 6. He's about to.
That's true.
He's about to match Schumacher.
Yeah, I think match him.
Match, right?
I think so. Yeah. Because Schumacher had 6. I don't know. I still want to see Bottas win one.
Win a championship.
Yeah, spread the love around.
100%.
But
it would be nice, but he's got to earn it. Nobody wants to be given. Oh no, sorry. Schumacher has 7 championships.
7,
so
damn.
Hamilton's not gonna match him yet, but he'll be 1 championship away.
Yeah, we're getting close
from it. So he has beat all of his other records: number of wins, number of podiums, number of career points, all that. But
we also have more races in the season.
We have more races in the season and whatnot. So that's the big differentiator there. But anyways, what else? So Mercedes took a Constructors' Championship in Japan, which means that they've got 6 now in a row, and also means because the championship fight is only between Bottas and Hamilton, it means they've also picked up the Drivers' Constructor Championship, which is the first time in history that a team has done 6 consecutive Constructors and Driver Championships.
Dang.
The next closest team is McLaren at 5.
Oh, really? Even over Ferrari? I feel like
over Ferrari.
Schumacher, around that time, they would have.
He won.
Oh, not consecutive.
Yeah, he won in 94, 95, and then 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004. But they might not have won the Constructors' Championship during those in that 5 there. So I'm pretty sure it's McLaren that has. I think I read it right. It was McLaren that has had 5 back-to-back Constructors and Driver Championship wins. Mm-hmm. So kudos to Mercedes for dominating.
Good job.
Yeah. Domination.
I can't wait for the 21 rules changes.
Where Renault comes up as the number 1 car on the grid.
Hell no.
What's this news about Renault you got?
So well, here let's get into a little bit of news. Let's do this one first. Hamilton. Oh, so Bottas. It got out that after the race, Bottas revealed that he was racing with Hamilton's one of his old chassis from previous in the season.
Oh dang.
So he wasn't even racing with one of his chassis was still able to pull out the win. So I mean, I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
Like the chassis still got it.
Yep.
No, so there was also a little bit of news after the race. Racing Point, I guess, filed a dossier. So this year is like the first time I've ever heard dossier so much in my life.
On what?
On Renault, and there's allegations that Renault was using a system that automatically adjusts the brake bias in the car rather than it being driver assisted, depending on where you are on the track. So if that's the case, they're totally breaking the rules because it's like clearly stated in the rules that the
season disqualification.
Yeah, that you can manually adjust it, or the driver can manually adjust the brake bias throughout the race, but he has to be doing it manually. Like there can't be a computer-aided system. So it looks like the FIA took the ECUs out of the Renault cars from both Ricardo and Hulkenberg.
Yeah.
And they're doing some investigation. It says that Renault isn't. They acknowledge the protest, but they can't really comment right now because they have a couple more meetings with the FIA, I guess, over the next week or so. Mm-hmm. So we'll see how this plays out.
That would be wild.
That would be
crazy. That would suck for Ricardo.
How does Racing Point know? Like, how do they know to file this complaint? So
they have to have gotten an insider tip, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you can. There's views of
somebody snitching.
Yeah, right.
Snitches get stitches. Whoever you are at Renault, just know that.
Well, there's views of the driver actually, controlling the remote. I mean, I'm sure or the
bias.
Yeah, so I'm sure at this time,
probably doing nothing.
By now, you probably know what all those knobs do.
Yeah,
just from
all of them. Heck no.
From figuring it out. Well, I mean,
I know brake bias. I know fuel.
I'm saying the other. Yeah, right. Yeah, no, the other team can.
The other team. Yeah, they know.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. They're so complicated.
It's crazy now. Like, I kind of feel like they all have even what was it? Williams was like covering up the car after Kubica crashed in qualifying. It's like, come on, dude, no one's stealing your secrets.
Definitely not.
You got the slowest car out there.
Definitely not.
Like, but I'm sure everyone knows what's going on now.
I would be sad if Renault is cheating or whatever's going on, because
I mean, if they're cheating and still getting their ass kicked, like, come on.
Oh man, well that's true. That would suck. But I want Renault to be great. Like I want to be a Ricardo. I want Ricardo to win a championship. So I want them to come up as a fighting team, just like I want McLaren to be up there because I want to see it mix up. I'm tired of seeing Ferrari, Mercedes, Red Bull has been right there. Yeah. So like unfortunately, I don't really care too much if Red Bull goes to number one because I feel like they've already been in that space.
Yeah.
So especially with Vettel was just in that space with them, right? So I want to see, and I know McLaren has been too, but I just want to see some of these lower teams come up.
Which hopefully that's what 2021 will do.
Hopefully.
So I mean, still no news on the
Oh, that's right.
They're trying to put a cap in too for
it's supposed to come out this month, I think.
Money, right?
October.
Yeah. So hopefully, and I think McLaren's one of the teams that can actually get to that goal because they spend a ton of money. Like they're of the other teams, they're like right behind, like Renault and Red Bull. So I think if they put in a cap that's attainable, I think most of the teams can get there. Even Haas, I think, has said they're up in their budget for next year by $20 million. So
even after they lost their title sponsors, Rich Energy.
Yeah, right. I think I've explained that Rich Energy to you before. That whole thing's crazy.
Yeah, you did.
But
all right. Any other news?
That's all I got for right now. I think there's a Japanese racer who races in Super Formula for the Red Bull team.
Yeah, he did FP1 for Gasly.
What is it? Christian Horner said that he likes the racer. He thinks he has a good chance. I mean, he's like in the best chance right now for winning the Super Formula championship this year. So he likes him, and I think he did do a couple practice laps during FP1
Yeah.
for Gasly's
Yeah.
in Gasly's car. But right now he's not. He doesn't see him in the Red Bull program,
Yeah.
at least for next year. But he says he's still interested, and they're keeping an eye on him, see how he does.
Yeah. Speaking of Red Bull and Gasly and the guy from Super Formula, Honda did not have a great
No, they
showing. I mean, Albon did great and Gasly did great, but then Verstappen retired and Kvyat didn't do great. So like, not the best showing for them. Verstappen's car was losing power and it just wasn't working for him. And they qualified in like sixth place. Yeah.
Yeah, 5th and 6th, right?
Yeah. Well, it was Vettel, Leclerc. Where did they qualify?
Vettel, Leclerc, Bottas, Hamilton, and then
Hamilton was in 5th, I think. Oh no, Hamilton was 4th. My bad. Right, I said Hamilton was 5th earlier. That's my mistake.
And then Vettel and Albon. I don't know. I think
Albon.
Yeah. Okay. I think. I think they did as well as they could be expected. I think they had higher hopes for their new spec engine. Right? Then they take penalties in Russia.
Yeah, Albon and Gasly did amazing. Albon finished 4th. He started 6th, and Gasly finished 8th, and he started in I think 9th place. Yeah, 9th place. So qualified well in the Toro Rosso, and then finished well. I mean, you can't ask for much more than that. He gained positions, and Albon finished great. But Verstappen, their star child, didn't do great. And Kvyat, where was he? Kvyat qualified 14th, and he ended up finishing in 12th. So out of the points. I mean, the thing is, why it was such a bad weekend for Honda is they took all those engine penalties the races before to like get ready for the Japanese Grand Prix, and then Verstappen gets taken out.
I know, yeah.
All bad.
I would have liked to have seen him actually compete.
Yeah,
but
see where he would have been. I guess we go to Mexico.
I don't know. Hopefully
Honda
can keep. Hopefully Honda can keep developing that engine, and it just gets better as the years go on.
Yeah. What else during the race? I guess skipping to the end. I mean, Albon barged up the inside of Norris, so that kind of ruined. Well, that's not the end, but that ruined Norris's race because he was running in like 6th place behind Carlos Sainz, and then he got sustained damage, and then just fell to the back.
Did anything happen with that?
No, they
did
never
they even investigate it?
No, nothing even came of it. I'm like, that was
a terrible move.
Yeah, that was some bad driving, in my opinion. He just. It's almost like he didn't care that he was there.
It's like he's racing go-karts or something.
Yeah, he's risking it all. He was just like, whatever. I don't care if I'm the last Honda engine, power Honda engine in this race. I'm just going to risk it all. Yeah. He literally just barged up the inside. I mean, there was no stopping. I mean, he stopped a little bit, but there was no he was just sending it. Full send, licked the stamp, sent it, tried to pull a Ricardo in Ricardo's old car, and I guess he came out better for it, but he still hit someone. So I don't know.
Yeah.
And then Sergio Perez got taken out by Gasly, I think. Yeah, Gasly in the very last lap. Yeah. Crashed out. But luckily for him, because it was the last lap and the Bottas was finishing up right then and there,
so
he ended up finishing 9th place.
Dang.
So he still got a solid 2 points out of it.
Nice.
Crashed out of the race, still finished 9th. I don't know how that works.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think once the leader passes the finish line, if you're lapped, then your race is over.
Okay, yeah. So that must mean because it did happen at turn 1. So that means that Bottas must have been right behind them, and so that when Bottas finished, then the other drivers all they all finished too in the positions they were in. They couldn't pass Perez because they just crossed the line and finished their race in 10th place or whatever.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
So, anyways, that was pretty much the race. I mean, Vettel got a bad start. Vettel jumped the start. Leclerc got a bad start. Verstappen gets taken out, and Perez gets taken out but gets 9th place, and Carlos Sainz gets 5th place, which is awesome.
Yeah,
for McLaren.
Yeah, it was kind of the story of the season. McLaren or not Mercedes picking up wins in races they shouldn't be winning,
Yeah.
and then winning the races they should be. So
And it's funny how Ferrari didn't even show up until qualifying because they were saying leading up to this race that this is a power track for sure. It's got those long straights. It's hard to pass. And they were expecting Ferrari to just dominate all weekend but Mercedes took a 1-2 in both practices. But they didn't take a 1-2 in qualifying. They fell back to where they were. So
yeah,
wasn't necessarily Ferrari dominated weekend. And then the race, obviously, Mercedes won that.
yeah, it was a good race.
Was.
We need to do more of those. What is it? Asian or Eurasian races,
Yeah.
and get those start times on point.
Yep. They should go to Thailand or something like
Right.
that.
Well, the Vietnam race next year, right?
Oh, yeah.
Is that next year or 2021?
Next year.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
The Vietnam and there's one more that's added next year.
I don't know. Isn't there? So there's already a China.
Oh, Zandvoort.
Zandvoort. Oh, yeah,
for
yeah. And,
Verstappen fans.
yeah, Holland, right?
The Netherlands, yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. You got anything else?
I think that'll do it. It was a fun weekend.
All right. Well,
Looking
thanks for
forward to Mexico.
listening. Yeah, looking forward to Mexico. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. Follow us on Instagram, Starting Grid USA. Email us, startinggridusa@gmail.com.
We really need to do some Instagram stuff.
I put a little bit. I put something on
I
there.
did see that. Yeah. I was like, what is this?
And that was actually really cool. Did you check that out? Did you go to their website?
I other than the GIFs I've seen on Instagram, I haven't checked it out yet.
You can see every single team's car in 3D, and you can control and zoom in wherever you want
Oh, really?
on it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
That's
like
awesome. I'll have
the
to
first
check it out.
time that you can just zoom in on all their stuff.
Yeah.
See all the secrets. So yeah, it's pretty neat. Check that out. But yeah, email us, like and subscribe, comment, do all that jazz. And
It sounds like you got a baby to go take care of.
yep, I know he started to cry.
Perfect.
All right, we're out.
All right, ciao, ciao.